Hi, everybody. Welcome to this very short, very special episode of Offstage. I'm here today with Jaclyn and Ryan. They are the co-producers of Adult Film's The Cherry Orchard. And we're going to chat a little bit about how The Cherry Orchard came to be. Guys, thank you very much for being here. Welcome to Offstage.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Ryan Czerwonko. I'm an actor and director in New York City. I'm directing The Cherry Orchard and acting in it, and I'm the artistic director of Adult Film.
Hi, I'm Jaclyn Bethany. I'm a theater maker, filmmaker, producer, writer, performer, and I'm producing the adult film production of The Cherry Orchard.
So for the audience that knows nothing about it, what do you think is the appeal? What do you think is the entry point into Chekhov? If you're a contemporary audience that hasn't heard about Chekhov before, what is your take?
Well, I think that contrary to popular belief, everyone thinks Chekhov is about passivity and that nothing happens in it. But I think the character is extremely active and they're throwing themselves after love. Every Chekhov play is about love. They're hurling themselves after love and trying to find completion and satisfaction. So our approach is this very, very active. It's really physical. It's contrary to popular belief. It's also sexual, really sexy. And it has movement and music and kind of showing the now of then.
So, Jaclyn, why the Cherry Orchard? What felt important about the Cherry Orchard right now?
I mean, I think it's the scale of it really excited me in a time that I think we're going through, certainly in America, and I think, a lot of change, and this play is about change and how that affects people, and sort of also the sort of family dynamics that are kind of evolving from Lyubov and her family and her daughters, and sort of having a piece of property or something that everyone is united under is really interesting to me. I'm from the South, and there's a lot of sort of I think similar things around estates and family. And I think that's universally relatable. But also, I think that Ryan is doing a really interesting, bold interpretation of this play that hasn't been seen before.
Okay. Tell me about this sexy take, Ryan, about this physical, sexual take on Chekhov. What do you think is different in this production that you're directing from what you've seen before?
I think it's more about the people in the play and the behavior that they have together rather than the outside concepts that are going on in the world. So for me, it's about a woman who can't get enough love in every single way, sexual, emotional, friendship, everything. She just can't get enough love. So she hurls herself after it and she wrecks a lot of people's lives in the process or changes a lot of people's lives. So she's reckless. She's not a negative character or anything like that, but there's a recklessness. So with the recklessness comes this abandon, and more so than sexual, it's sensual. I think there's like a sensuality that I'm drawing out of the text of the play, and we're embodying it with threading that through all the relationships and kind of bringing out some of the sexual undertones between characters that you may not normally see being emphasized. And definitely just the whole play being about this forward movement of pursuing love, going after love.
Is this the first time that you're collaborating together?
No, I've taught for adult film. We also did a short film together called Delusion that's currently in post-production. So this would be, I guess, our first theater, production, but we've collaborated in other ways.
Adult film is also an acting school. So a lot of what we're doing comes out of this training program that we're doing, and kind of not just the literal classes, but the whole ethos of the thing is kind of like everyone involved experiences it as an ongoing training experience.
Sure.
So that's, we've been working on, this is our second year-long process on a Chekhov play. So really it's a long-form, extended acting laboratory
you feel like they're a good vehicle for this kind of like long form communal creation devising almost.
Yes. And I just believe that in particular, like I think any of the values that are in Chekhov are the acting values of all great plays or all great TV and film. So really using that as kind of the foundation of everything we work on here. And then, Chekhov's direct descendant is Tennessee Williams. Chekhov and Tennessee Williams are kind of my two energetic tent poles of what influences me creatively. And Jaclyn is also a massive Tennessee Williams fan. She's done Williams plays, which our company members have appeared in. We're just in a dialogue of art that we care about, which kind of springs off of this reinterpretive, active version of these classic writers and plays.
And I think what's interesting, I guess, too, about like, Ryan and I aren't operating from a place of, we don't have a big system, like a theater behind us or a big space or funding or anything like that. I mean, the kind of work that we're trying to do is pretty rooted in the art, which I think is what these writers wanted. But it's so, you're getting a different perspective than you would perhaps see at a bigger space or venue or theater. And I think that's really special because then it makes it about the words and the work.
Okay.
They're presented in a way that the audience can really make contact and engage with the piece that's going on. And often in these proscenium things, it's just literally by the shape of the space. It kind of feels like you're in a museum watching something and not really a part of it. I feel like we really do huge things with the limited resources we have and really make like huge artistic brushstrokes with them that I think are very, very different.
How do you feel like energetically the audience feels different about a production that is not done in a proscenium setting, that is done all around them, that you said that it's very physical?
There is no fourth wall in Chekhov. It's written in the script. There's in the Seagull, Uncle Vanya, everyone has monologues while they're alone on the stage. Right. There is no fourth wall. The lens that we do things through, when we did the Seagull, we made it really an investigation of like, what is acting? So we're all acting in a play while we're doing the Seagull. So we make the audience part of it. It's like, how am I being seen? What are the layers of lenses and reflections and mirrors that I'm being seen through? So that was that. Now we're pushing it really, really, really far in the Cherry Orchard and making it kind of a gigantic space theatrical explosion that's aware of itself and kind of like a Baz Luhrmann sort of way. I'm very much not into denying anything that's happening. I'm not telling my actors to pretend that they're in 1905 Russia. Like, we're making a piece that's in this room right now. We're not interpreting something that's existed in the past. We're creating something right now. And I feel like in a lot of situations, everything's conspiring against you to pretend as much as possible. And I just don't believe in that. And that's not how I see art. So, yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about adult film, because I think my very first approach to adult film was the visuals that I see put forth. It seems like you have a very strong aesthetic, like a very clear sense. It's both retro, but it's also kind of like of the present. It's urban, but at the same time, it feels poetic, right? Kind of like decadent.
Well, all the words that you just said are what my personality and taste is. So that's what the group's about. But the group is really a group of like-minded people who share that taste, and we all gravitate towards each other through those influences. On the theater and playwriting side, it's Tennessee Williams, Chekhov, kind of going down through that. It's highly influenced by classic Hollywood cinema, as well as the great European films of the 50s and 60s, Bergman, Antonioni. Then the New York, it's like everyone's always looking to find a little bit of 70s New York still somewhere. And I feel like a lot of people, Gen Z, millennials, we find that stuff in like the films of Cassavetes or the early films of Scorsese or things like that. Those artistic images and influences are so alive in me. And I feel like they were created with such insight and freedom and such a lack of self-consciousness that feels like the polar opposite of everything that's going on today. The whole project is like a wake up from your malaise to see how we can still find these things that I think are universal and timeless in our lives right now.
Sure.
And actually kind of, I mean, really just find meaning together that's not based on this shallow life of like social media and clout and money and all these things. So Adult Film is a theater company, film studio or independent film studio or group, and an artistic training center that is actor focused.
Is there a specific kind of like school that you follow, a specific type of acting, a specific type of assembling of the artistic team, collaboration that you feel defines adult film?
I have a few strong acting teacher influences, chiefly. I mean, I feel like these things like Stanislavski, Meisner, Strasberg, Budahagen, these things are kind of like, they're like absorbed into our consciousness in a way. And
Sure.
when I was developing the foundation of the training program, which is developing because we're always learning, this kind of twofold idea of like, I'm using what's really here, which I got from the book How to Stop Acting by Harold Guskin. To me, he is a quintessential postmodern book that takes up the reins of like what Meisner, Strasberg, Stella Adler put down. I'm really theatrical and emphatic and opinionated. So Stella Adler's definitely a big influence with me in terms of like, what's your opinion? How do you approach something? Like just that gusto and muscularity. I'm really influenced by this Australian teacher named Lindy Davies, who was Kate Blanchett's teacher, and she's getting up there, but she comes to New York once a year, and her training is amazing. So I'm very influenced by that. I don't quite know how to describe it, but it's very physical.
I love this term muscularity because it almost speaks of the fibers of the kind of like the almost innate way of acting, right?
I think it's so visceral, and like I think it's really powerful and interesting, all of the training and the show. I'm sorry it's late here, but everyone should come see the Cherry Orchard, and I know you'll get to talk more about that, but thank you so much for having us.
So it's Adult Films The Cherry Orchard. It's directed by me. It has a cast of 12 fantastic New York actors, established actors, emerging actors. It's going to be at Rutgers Presbyterian Church on the Upper West Side from September 18th through October 12th, 16 performances.
Good.
Yeah.
We're going to leave the link for the tickets and all the information down below for you all. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Jaclyn, for joining me. Thank you, everybody at home, for tuning in. Don't miss the Cherry Orchard. It's previewing on September the 18th, opening on September 20th. We're going to leave the ticket link and the description. So I'll see you there, and we'll see you on the next Offstage.